Taiwanese President Ma Ying-jeou, whose Beijing-friendly policy has not gone down well with the opposition, is not expected to meet Chen. But that isn't likely to appease the mainland. Last week, the activist claimed China had exerted unrelenting pressure on New York University to end his fellowship this summer. But the university, which has a campus in Shanghai, denied the allegation, saying Chen knew that he would be at NYU for a year at most. The dissident gained fame for spearheading a campaign against forced abortions resulting from China's one-child policy. Last year, the self-taught lawyer managed to slip past guards at his home in Shandong province, where he has been under house arrest, and sought refuge in the U.S. Embassy in Beijing. His escape triggered off a diplomatic spat which ended when he was allowed to leave China and pursue his studies in the U.S. But with his fellowship at NYU about to end, Chen has been exploring other venues to continue his fight for human rights in China. 2 other U.S. institutions have offered him positions, but his visit to Taiwan is seen as an opportunity for the dissident to take his campaign to China's doorstep.
Still to come on ATV's main news tonight. Hong Kong stocks plunge again, falling under 20,000 points for first time since September.
And Jethro Tull frontman Ian Anderson proves that age is no barrier to making good music.
各位型男展示你哋嘅魅力嘅機會嚟啦！
快啲報名參加 ATV 2013亞洲先生競選啦！
我等住你挑戰啊！
ATV 2013亞洲先生競選現已接受網上報名，立即登入亞視網站。或許佢哋嘅動機係不可原諒，但係人同動物之間嘅愛又確實存在。近距離追蹤大象獵人嘅足跡。環球大百科象牙武士，今晚8點半亞洲台。
燃點希望，展新生，
為患者重燃希望。
請支持香港脊髓損傷基金會。
請支持7月7日，燃點希望，展新生。香港脊髓損傷基金8週年慈善籌款晚會，多謝大家。
UA 亞洲聯合財務呈現燃點希望展新生香港脊髓損傷基金會8週年2013慈善籌款晚會，7月7號晚上8點半，2台同步。全港手牽手慶祝香港回歸祖國16週年，重量級司儀強勢壓陣，亞洲達人坊嘅星光家族、星光舞者齊齊登場獻技，恭賀回歸盛事。手牽手慶回歸獻愛心系列活動啟動禮，7月1號下午1點，國際台現場直播。過百萬觀眾以酒會友。
呢間揭出嚟之後咧，美國政府從來冇人出嚟話，喂唔係啊，冇呢啲咁嘅嘢喎。
杯中有真言，盡表精英境界。
我哋特區政府咧就唔竊聽嘅，亦都唔會做埋嗰啲嘢嘅。
第二樣嘢，你去到呢個層面嘅話咧，咁你就其實係外交嘅問題。
論時政，還看把酒。關注時政嘅嘉賓今晚現身，劉夢熊、余若薇。探討嘅議題係佔中可令中央讓步嗎？把酒當歌，今晚11點，本港台、亞洲台2台同步。
Hong Kong shares have fallen for the 4th straight session, with the benchmark Hang Seng Index closing below 20,000 points for the first time since September.
Local stocks were dragged down by mainland markets, which suffered their worst daily loss in almost 4 years. Emily Sue has more.
Hong Kong investors took another hit today as shares fell for the 4th straight session. The Hang Seng Index ended the day 2.2% or 449 points lower at 19,813. It's the first time since last September that the benchmark has closed below the psychological 20,000 point level. Turnover was robust at $77.4 billion. Financial counters were among the biggest losers. Banking giant HSBC shed 1.7%, while insurer AIA plunged 2.6%. The slump began last Wednesday after the U.S. Federal Reserve hinted that the era of cheap money may be drawing to a close. That warning, plus a credit crunch on the mainland and a weakening in China's manufacturing activity, spooked markets here and around the world. There was no respite for Hong Kong today, as local investors took their cue from the mainland. Chinese shares suffered their worst losses in almost 4 years, amid fears that the central bank will maintain a tight monetary policy. That could lead to a sharp fall in growth in the world's second biggest economy. Emily Su, ATV News.
Time now for sports with Raymond Yang.
And there's a shock development in Chinese football, Raymond.
Well, indeed, the national coach has been given the boot. Jose Antonio Camacho was sacked after a string of poor performances. The move is expected to be welcomed by Chinese fans, but the sports authorities will have to start the search again for a football messiah.
Hopes were high on the mainland in August 2011 when Jose Antonio Camacho was appointed head national coach. Following a series of corruption scandals and a serious loss of form, football officials were confident that Camacho would guide China to next year's World Cup finals in Brazil. But the dreams quickly turned into a nightmare as the national team lost 11 of the 20 matches under the Spaniard. And after last week's humiliating 5-1 defeat to Thailand, the Chinese Football Association decided that enough was enough. The CFA today tore up Camacho's contract 1 year before it was due to expire. But the 58-year-old former national coach of Spain, who earns $3.6 million a year, could walk away with $4 million in compensation. On the pitch, Neville's old boys, who have just won the second half of Argentina's first division campaign, met Argentinos juniors, who needed to win the last game of the season to escape relegation. After a scoreless first half, juniors notched the only goal of the match moments from time, thanks to a header by substitute Pablo Hernandez. The 1-0 victory and a defeat for relegation candidate San Martin guaranteed top-flight football for juniors next season. San Martin were 2 goals down against River Plate inside 24 minutes, but kept their slim hopes alive by pulling one back to trail 2-1 at half-time. However, there was a setback when San Martin defender Damien Ledesma was sent off for arguing with the referee. Their fate was sealed when River Plate made it 3-1 in the closing stages. The defeat doomed San Martin to second-tier football after 2 seasons in the top division.
In golf, Ken Duke has become the PGA Tour's oldest first-time winner in 18 years after clinching the Travelers Championship in Connecticut. The American produced 5 birdies in the final round en route to a 12-under 268. At 44, Duke is the oldest tour golfer since 1995 to earn his maiden title. Overnight co-leader Bubba Watson bowed out of contention with a triple bogey at the 16th hole. Fellow American Chris Stroud forced a playoff after chipping home a birdie at the final hole to go into a tie. Audi's Tom Christensen made history at the Le Mans endurance race after winning for a record 9th time. But it was an emotional victory for the Dane, who was distraught following the death of compatriot Alan Simonsen, who crashed just minutes into the race. This year, the 90th anniversary of the event, safety cars were kept busy dealing with several accidents caused by damp conditions.
One of the most original and talented rock musicians in the world, Ian Anderson of the band Jethro Tull, is performing tonight in Hong Kong.
ATV's Yondan Latu was a big fan during his student days and caught up with him for a chat before the concert.
If you were listening to popular music in the 1970s and 80s, you'll remember this man. Ian Anderson, flamboyant frontman of the progressive rock band Jethro Tull, a wild-eyed, messy-haired Scottish pioneer who combined classical, folk, jazz and experimental music to produce a unique style of rock. Then there was the flute. he is now, still going strong at age 65. Back in Hong Kong after 20 years to play a retrospective of his own and Jethro Tull's music, proving to the world that you're never too old to rock and roll.
The thing about Hong Kong when I last came, because it was quite a long time ago, it's like a little boy that you met many years ago, and my first reaction is going to be, wow, how you've grown.
Anderson sees the bright side of his music becoming more accessible to the masses through new media portals such as YouTube. But he doesn't appreciate his hard work being pirated.
I don't call those people pirates, I call them scum.
And what does he think of the current generation of pop stars with far less talent making far more money than him?
You know, there's always going to be a Justin Bieber. There will be a new Justin Bieber in 5 years' time or 2 years' time. There'll be another Lady Gaga in 5 years' time. Someone else who comes along and captures the imagination of basically children. But what do I think? I don't really care.
At his concert in Hong Kong, he is giving Melody Chuang, a young music student from Chinese University, a chance to share the stage with him. They gave us an exclusive preview.
Then I improvise by going boom. And that's the best place to finish it. I like that.
Thank you.
And a look at the weather before we go. Heavy rain was recorded across Hong Kong today. Temperatures ranged between 24.9 and 29.5 degrees, while the relative humidity was between 81 and 98%. Winds were moderate to fresh, blowing in from the south. Let's check the ultraviolet reading. The maximum recorded for the day was 8. Tomorrow's UV index will also be around 8. Let's take a look at the weather in the region. The trough of low pressure associated with an active southwesterly airstream is bringing rain and thunderstorms to the coastal areas of Guangdong. And moving on to the satellite images. Cloud bands are bringing unstable weather to Guangdong's coast. Here's what we can expect over the next few days. Heavy rain at times tomorrow morning, followed by clouds and thunderstorms for the day. Temperatures will vary between 25 and 30 degrees. Sunny spells with showers on Wednesday, and expect a bright and very hot weekend. Now for tomorrow's air pollution levels. General stations will be low to medium at 10 to 50, and roadside pollution levels will be medium to high at 50 to 75. And finally, here's the weather around the world.
Main news for Monday night. We'll have an update in an hour. I'm Edna.
I'm Raymond Yang.
And I'm Belinda Lloyd. Thanks for watching ATV. Good night.
Good night.
跟住落嚟係亞視普通話新聞。